Touchdown, Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans, the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
Welcome into The Process, Crimson Tide Recruiting with Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst, Touchdown Alabama magazine. Thank you guys so much for joining me today as I have a jam-packed show on tap, as I'll be joined later in the show by former Alabama defensive tackle Reggie Grimes, who's part of Alabama's 1999 SEC championship team. He is also the father of Alabama's four-star defensive end target Reggie Grimes, who is considered to be one of the top defensive ends in the 2020 recruiting class. Before I get to talk to Grimes about his career and his son's recruitment, I wanted to give you guys some quick recruiting updates on Alabama, as Alabama's four-star linebacker target in the 2020 recruiting class, Jordan Banks, announced his verbal commitment to Arizona State recently. Banks was considered to be one of Alabama's top linebacker targets in the 2020 recruiting class. Alabama's 2020 four-star defensive tackle commit, Jason Jones, recently received his Under Armour All-American Game jersey. He will play in the Under Armour All-American Game on this season. He was also recently selected to play in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game and represent the state of Alabama. He was joined by fellow Alabama commits Demore Kennedy, Jackson Bratton, Malachi Moore, Christian Story, and Roydell Williams, who are all selected to represent the state of Alabama in this year's game in December, which will be played in Mississippi. Alabama also recently offered 2022 defensive end Curtis Perry out of Montgomery, Alabama. Perry is projected to be one of the top overall players in the nation in the 2022 recruiting class. He's also projected to be a five-star recruit. So Curtis Perry is a guy to look out for in the future for Alabama. As always, you can check out his reaction to his offer from Alabama on touchdownalabama.com. Before I get the show started, I wanted to take a look at Alabama's commits top highlights from this weekend. So I picked out 3 highlights that I thought were really special from Alabama's commits over the weekend. So that's how we're going to get the show started today. With that being said, let's get the process started. The first play comes from Alabama's four-star running back commit Kyle Edwards out of Destrehan High School in Destrehan, Louisiana. Edwards whips off a 60-yard touchdown run against Bonneville High School on Friday. Edwards gets into the open field, breaking tackles on this play, showing that he can make plays in the open field, showing off his speed at 6'2" and 210 pounds. This is something you like to see out of a future SEC running back, showing he's very versatile at the position. He can break tackles, showing that arm tackling will not work against him, and showing that he can produce in the open field. The next play comes from Alabama's 6'3" wide receiver commit Trayshawn Holden. Holden returns a punt return on this play. This is not the first time that Holden has made an impact on special team. He has taken a kick return back earlier in the season. On this play, Holden rips through the opposing defense, showing that he's very explosive with the ball in his hand, and showing that he can run for a 6'3" wide receiver commit, and also showing that Alabama can use him similar to the way they use their current wide receiver, showing that he can make plays after the ball is in his hand, picking up those yards after the catch. The last play comes from Alabama's four-star defensive back commit Brian Branch, who pulls off his best Odell Beckham impersonation as he reaches back in the corner of the end zone to pull in a one-handed catch, showing that he's a very versatile player as he lined up at the wide receiver position on this particular play. He plays defensive back as Alabama is recruiting him at defensive back to play the safety position at the next level. He currently draws comparison to former Alabama defensive back Eddie Jackson, which is ball judgment and ball handling ability. He also draws comparison to Eddie Jackson because he can turn those interceptions into pick sixes with ease. As some of you guys may know, I am continuing my travels to check out some of Alabama's recruiting targets throughout the season. This weekend, I got a chance to check out Alabama's 2021 four-star defensive tackle target, Tim Keenan III out of Ramsey High School in Birmingham, Alabama. Keenan didn't really see too much action against Renan on last Friday, as Ramsey High School held out most of their starters due to the fact that they had the game well in hand. But I did get a chance to have a video interview with Tim Keenan after the game. You guys can check out that interview on touchdownalabama.com's YouTube page. You guys can also check out an exclusive interview with Keenan as he talk about his relationship at the Alabama's coaching staff. You guys can check out exclusive interviews with Tim Keenan and some of Alabama's other top targets exclusively on touchdownalabama.com. Pick up a subscription so you guys could take a look at those pieces. But on the other hand, what I did get to see from Keenan in the limited action, what I did get to see, I can tell he's a guy who keeps his arms extended at 6'2" and 300 pounds plus. He can move pretty good. But that's something I knew going into that game. After seeing him at the Nike Opening Regional in Atlanta, he took home the Defensive Lineman MVP award in the Nike Opening Regional in Atlanta, and also was invited to the Nike Opening Final after his performance in Atlanta. So I definitely think Tim Keenan III is a guy to watch out for. You guys can check out some of the schools that are currently pushing hard for him in the interview on touchdownalabama.com in the video interview. So that's one guy I wanted to bring to you guys' attention. If you haven't heard of him, Tim Keenan III out of Ramsey High School in Birmingham, Alabama is definitely a guy to look out for when it comes to Alabama future recruiting classes. I am so happy to be joined by former Alabama defensive tackle Reggie Grimes Sr. at the moment. As I said earlier, he was part of Alabama's 1999 SEC championship team. He also is the father of a big-time Alabama recruiting target in 2024 star defensive end Reggie Grimes II. I'm so grateful to be joined by Reggie today. He currently coaches for Ravenwood High School. He is their defensive coordinator, which is the same high school Reggie Grimes II currently lines up for. How's it going today, Reggie?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Busy time of year with football gearing up and heading down the home stretch, but I'm doing well.
I'm doing pretty well also. The first thing I wanted to touch on with you today was the fact that you have seen recruiting from different angles. As you are a parent, you are currently a defense coordinator for a high school football team, but you also were a recruit. But you're a recruiter in the 1990s. What are some of the things you have seen that have changed dating back to the time when you were a recruit, being one of the highly rated recruits coming out during your time in high school?
Man, the internet has changed recruiting. It has brought it from prehistoric times to modern times, so to speak. Coaches can do so much more. They can see so much more at the click of a button with the internet and on your cell phones and whatnot. So that has really changed the game. It's kind of shrunk the U.S. or shrunk the earth, so to speak, because now if they want to watch a kid on the other side of the country, like I said, they can pull up his HUDL. They can go to one of the different websites and they have everything. Whereas when I was playing, if you wanted to see me, you had to come and see me, or you had to get someone to send tape of me, which took recording the game or dubbing the game and then packaging it up and taking it down to the post office and actually sending it, and he gets it maybe 2 or 3 days later. So, it's changed a lot.
Yeah, I know a lot of college coaches benefit from being part of the internet age. As you just said, a coach can simply type in a player's name and pull up their HUDL film, evaluate them, and the next thing you know, that particular player has an offer from that particular school. I know that Reggie Grimes II had to come to Tuscaloosa and show Alabama's coaching staff what he can do before they extend an offer to him. But I'm pretty sure Nick Saban and his staff is pretty excited and pretty grateful that he did extend an offer to your son at that particular time. But going back to the weekend where you guys took an official visit to Tuscaloosa, which was coincidentally the reunion of the 1999 SEC championship team, what was that overall experience like for you and your family?
It was special. I'll be honest, it was special. Just being back for the occasion of the reunion of the championship team. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years already, but that championship team was a close group, a close-knit group. So getting to see them, and then the fact that my son was down there on official, possibly deciding to go to University of Alabama and following my footsteps, man, I can't describe that feeling. I wail with pride when I think about it. We'll see what the future has in store, but it was a special time.
Reggie's future currently looks pretty bright at the moment, with a lot of SEC schools and schools across the nation pushing for him. I know he wants to make a big impact at the next level, similar to the impact you made in the 1999 SEC championship game where you intercepted a pass and took it all the way back to the house. What was that play like? Could you walk us through that? Was that something you guys saw during the week, something you guys prepared for? Can you just walk us through that moment?
It's a play that I don't think I will ever forget, and it gets more and more spectacular every time I tell it. I'll be honest with you. But before long, it'll be a 99-yard touchdown return. But anyway, no, they came out in a set that we had seen on film, and we had already determined that the twist that me and Cornelius ended up running on that play was going to be predetermined anytime they came out in that set. Then Jared Johnson, who went on to have a long career in the NFL, he was just a freshman at the time. He got his big old paw on the ball and deflected it to me once the play got started, man, and it all kind of slowed down and went in slow motion from there. So it seemed like that ball took forever to get to me, but when it got close enough for me to snag it, I was able to get my hand on it and take it to the house.
I know your head coach Mike DeBose and the rest of your teammates are really proud of that moment, but I also know you were recruited by Gene Stallings to come into Alabama. What was Stallings like? Do you see any similarities between him and Nick Saban?
Yes, I think they are strong father figures for the kids that need them. They're both of them were disciplinarians.
I feel you on that one. And the last question I wanted to ask you was, what type of person and what type of teammate is a Lucky team getting in Reggie Grimes II once he makes his commitment?
Well, he's a young Christian man. He's well-mannered, smart. He's an intelligent kid. He's well-spoken. He will speak up for himself. Determined, loyal. He'll go to the ends for his teammates. So, and his family in general. So, anybody, and it may be just dad talking, but I don't think that's the case. But anybody is going to be getting a program changer, and maybe not just from an athletic standpoint, but in a culture standpoint. And then again, maybe that already adding to a culture that is a championship culture. And like I said, when I talk about champion, not necessarily being a champion on the field, but just a champion in the way that you do everything. So, I look forward to seeing his development and his growth over the next 4 years.
Thank you for joining me today, Reggie. It was nice talking to you. I want to thank everyone for watching and tuning in to the process. Hope you guys continue to watch the process as it will be streamed and available to be streamed every Monday and Wednesday at 4 p.m. on Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube page. Subscribe to Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube and stay updated with everything Alabama football. Also, pick up a subscription to TouchdownAlabama.com and stay updated on everything Alabama football and everything Alabama football recruiting. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Justin Smith, the Scouting Recruiting Analyst, Touchdown Alabama Magazine.